Welcome to Pinholes and Pixels. I'm the lenticular half of this exhibit with Paul Jones. And basically, for those of you who aren't familiar, lenticular is a form of photography where two images are combined into one. And essentially, because of the way the pixels are arranged in the print and the optical plastic that's put over it, the viewer gets to see two different images depending on their vantage point. This is an old-fashioned way of doing the same thing with an accordion folded image. But the same thing happens. The images are combined into stripes, and then they're refracted out to the eye in different angles. And the fun of it is that the viewer gets to determine the speed in the sequence, by how you move back and forth. You decide which is the first image you want, and the second image, the beginning, the end, the before, the after, and hopefully the viewer brings their own little story and emotions to the image. The first one here is called Wired, and it's basically the two images are of a man named Tattoo Joe from Bridgeport, who runs a tattoo parlor, and his face is covered in tribal, New Zealand tribal tattoo pattern. And it always reminded me, when I was a kid, I was soldered radio kits, teeth kits together, and it reminded me of a printed circuit board. And I have a few toy robots, and the weird juxtaposition just fascinated me of the robot being a wired mechanism, and here's this guy with a printed circuit on his face, and are we getting closer to robots? Are robots getting closer to humans? There was all that stuff going on. This play on words, this one's called Hue and Me, H-U-E and me, and a very simple study of just a hand opening and closing with different colored paint. And again, it's the fun, I think, for the viewer. There's nothing deep going on here, but it could be somebody exposing different colors of their being or personality. But it's just the revealing and concealing, and depending on how you look at it, the hand's either revealing something to you or it's concealing it, as we all do. This one is called Plumage, and this was taken in a real gallery and a kind of a guerrilla photo session. My lady friend here agreed to do this, and we went into a gallery during regular hours, and I had to keep watch and make sure nobody was coming in, and she wore a dress that was easily dispensed with, and I gave her the signal when no one was coming through the door, and she dropped her dress, and we took the picture without plumage and then the picture with plumage. And the funny juxtaposition again of the parrot who's totally dressed, looking at her, and she's looking at the parrot, and I just love the back and forth there. So that's just a pure fun shot, kind of reminiscent of the little pens that we kids used to have in grade school, where the lady dressed and you flip the pen upside down and the dress would fall away. This was taken, this is just called Fried Dough for obvious reasons. This was taken at the Italian Festival in Westport, and I was fascinated by this kind of old-time carnival atmosphere and look to them. But I drove by I'd gone one night, and I came back during the day, and it looks like it was such ghostly, like just a ghostly aura to it. Nobody there, no festivities, no lights, no nothing. And all that magic was just taken away by the daylight. And so I took a picture in day and then came back at night and set up the camera in the same place, and with all the people and the lights, and how it's simple day and night transforms a place, its personality and its function, really. And on that same theme, I got fascinated with the whole day and night shift of images. And this is a community theater in Fairfield, and simple day and night again of how a movie theater during the day is just kind of a not very interesting piece of architecture. And at night, the marquee and all that excitement we have as kids, reminiscent of, you know, the lights coming on and the pictures in town and the neon, the whole attraction of neon lights and the magic that it offers. And the same with the Hi-Ho, which is a famous landmark in Fairfield, hotel, which during the day looks kind of fairly normal, but at night it takes on a spooky kind of aura, and the hotel itself has its own mythology about it. It's right off the Merritt Parkway, and there's all sorts of legends about what goes on in there, and there happens to be a liquor store back here, and interesting groups of people shuttling around up there on the balconies, going in and out of rooms. So it's a fun place to take a look at. These were these fruit pictures, which are nothing more than fruit displayed in their entirety and then disassembled in different ways. The apple here is sliced just in half. This pear is sliced horizontally and in weird slices. This apple is, or pear is eaten, and this orange is just peeled. And I think really what makes these kind of brings something extra to this, which isn't me, but a friend of mine gave me this Islamic votive holder, I guess you'd call it, this beautiful kind of architectural holder. There's no Photoshop or anything involved in any of these pictures. There's just two images combined. And so it's just simple transition again of fruit coming together, and this way you can sort of, you know, put the fruit back together after you eat it or cut it. Enjoy the transition, the life of a piece of fruit. This last piece in the show is just called House because the colorful cartoon house is a piece of art by pop artist Roy Lichtenstein, and it's on the roof, or was on the roof, of the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, where I took that picture. And his piece is called House, so in tribute to, it's an homage to him and his piece. But I came across this other house, this dilapidated shack off the Merritt Parkway. And again, it's just a visual exploration of these two iconic houses. One is a piece of art, a very famous piece of art, pop art, and the other one is just a shack, a rundown, decaying shack. So the two different aspects of a house portrayed totally differently, and the concept of house meaning two different things. And that's it. Thanks for coming.